Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is Nicolas Batum the best thing that happened to the Clippers this season? So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro Podcast that we have linked in the description below. Be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro Premium platform. They will launch it sometime in January, sometime in the first week of January. And also be on the lookout for our website, Dreamerspro.com, where we're going to be publishing videos and articles and all that different stuff for you guys that want to check it out, which we're pretty excited about. So be on the lookout for all of those things. So let me just get back into the topic here. And also, Merry Christmas to you guys, for you guys who didn't hear me say it on the other episode. Anyway, let me get into the topic here. So Nicolas Batum was somebody that I wasn't even checking for, really, to be quite honest with you. And I'm sure a lot of you guys were not checking for him, to be honest with you. So what happened? How did this whole topic of this video come about? I remember at the end of the last season's playoffs when the Clippers lost, and Kawhi Leonard said something that kind of stood out. And I'm assuming that this comment that he made was something that got to management, Lawrence Frank and these guys, that they heard, and they said, okay, this is something we need to take to heart and do something about it. He said, we need to have a team that has a higher basketball IQ, that knows when to run certain plays, knows when to post, knows when to pass, knows when to, knows how to read the defense, and all of these different things. When he made that statement, it was kind of a vague statement, right? They were just like, okay, we need smarter players. On its face, it seems like a platitude. Okay, well, we need smart players. And I didn't really understand what he meant at depth until I looked at some of the off-season moves that the Clippers were making. Right, they picked up some pretty big names like Luke Kennard and Serge Ibaka. These are the bigger name players. But when they picked up Nicolas Batum, it kind of went under the radar. Why? Because Nicolas Batum last season, I believe it was waived. He was waived by the Charlotte Hornets, right? He's been in the league for a long time. I think he came into the league in 2008 to now, so he's been like a 12-year veteran, and he's played on different teams. He played on the Charlotte Hornets, Portland Trail Blazers, and now he's with the Los Angeles Clippers. So when they picked him up, no one was really paying attention to him. Now, also, he was also to kind of serve as a replacement to John Michael Green, and also a backup player to Marcus Morris Sr., who was a great pickup. And Lawrence Frank and these guys said that was their number one priority going into free agents, going into the offseason, was to make sure that they were able to retain Marcus Morris, which is a move that I really liked, and something that I thought he was a major contributor to that team, especially moving forward. Given his numbers, if you go back and look at his numbers, his productivity in the playoffs, you can tell that he was a real difference maker. So I really wanted them to re-sign this guy. So they picked up Nicolas Batum, and no one paid it much mind, right? Nick Wright and these guys. I hate to take shots at Nick Wright. Well, really, I don't. Nick Wright and these guys, they like to make fun of people. Oh, Nicolas Batum is going to be your savior and all of these different things. And these guys are only paying attention to the big name players. One would assume, the way Nick Wright speaks, it seems like as if he's smarter, he has more sense about basketball than Lawrence Frank and actual basketball executives, and people fall for it. But anyway, so they picked up this guy, and it kind of went under the radar until you started to see him playing games. The first game he played with, I think on opening night when they played against the Lakers, you could see that he gave the team a different complexion altogether, right? And then we were like, okay, but no one pays attention to that game. The next game against the Denver Nuggets, you saw that the guy had this ability to make plays, play defense, hit open threes, and really put guys in position to succeed. So I went back and I looked at his numbers. Now, granted, it's only 2 games, right? People's numbers are liable to change, and he'll probably go back to the bench. I don't know. That's something that the Lakers and Ty Lue and these guys are going to have to decide. So I went to go look at his numbers. And it turns out the guy for this team, although it's a very small sample size, he's averaging 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. The 5 assists and 8 rebounds part is the most impressive part, because his playmaking has been a difference for this team. I was surprised to see just how smart of a player he was. I was listening to some of his comments yesterday, talking about the reason he decided to go play with the Clippers, and he said it was very simple. He felt like he could help those guys get better, put guys in positions to succeed. Now, another thing that I think has been a really bright spot about Nicolas Batum is also the fact that he seems like a good chemistry team guy. He doesn't seem like a guy that has a lot of drama, that has a lot of ego. I think he understands his role on the team, and he's there to make guys better. He seems like he has a very good respect for the other players on the team. He seems like one of these players, according to the comments that he made, that he's like, listen, on a team like this, the only way for us to get better is to be honest with one another, give each other criticism, and no one takes it personally. He was describing a time when he was playing on the court, I think it was during practice or something, and he did something wrong, and Patrick Beverley came up to him and said, hey, man, you're doing this the wrong way, right? And he said he didn't take it personally. He understood that it was part of the, he said in order for them to grow, they need to have open dialogue, but understand that it's for the betterment of the team, and no one takes it personally at all. And for me, listening to this guy talk and seeing the impact that he seems like a very, very mature player. He doesn't seem like a guy that's out there, trying to shine and do all of these different things. And I think one of the reasons for that is because of his age. Nicolas Batum is 32 years old. I mean, he just turned 32 years old. So he's a mature veteran. And that's something that the Clippers needed. They needed to get some guys that are seasoned, that are older, that understand the NBA, that have been around the NBA for a long time. They could also show the younger guys, how to be professionals in the NBA. That's one of the things that they really, really needed. If you think about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, those guys are not even 30. But you brought in Serge Ibaka, who I believe is 31. You brought in Nicolas Batum, I believe, who was 32. These are some good veterans. And I think he's been one of these players that no one expected to play this well. And it's to the point now where some people are asking, should the Clippers consider starting Nicolas Batum over Marcus Morris when Marcus Morris gets back? Because I think the reason Marcus Morris Sr. is not playing is because he's having a sore knee. I think that's the reoccurring injury that he's having. He's having a sore knee, so that's the reason he hasn't played. And I don't think they want to rush him on the court. So some people looking at him in these two games have said, maybe we should start him. Now, for me, I'm not so sure if I'd want him to start for one reason. I think he'll come up. I think he'll be even better coming off of the bench because, to be quite honest with you, I think overall Marcus Morris is a better player. I think he's a better scorer. He's probably a better defender. I'm not sure if he's as good as a playmaker as him, and I don't know if he has as high a basketball IQ. But I'm thinking of Nicolas Batum and how he'll be able to impact that second unit because he can also handle the ball, right? He's also a good ball handler, but if he's there with that second unit with Luke Kennard, Lou Williams, I think he'll be able to steady down that second unit with Ivica Zubac. I think he'll work really well on the second unit. If they decide to start him, then so be it. No problem. I have no problem with it. But for me, I think he's been one of the best things that's happened to the Clippers. And I think he's been the number one under the radar pickup for this team that no one really seems to be focusing on. We're focusing on the big name players like the Serge Ibaka's. But this guy, so far in just 2 games, he seems to be a real difference maker. And again, him and Kawhi Leonard have a relationship. These guys have gone against each other in the playoffs. They battled each other, and he has a healthy respect for the guy. And he said, given the fact that Kawhi Leonard just really failed in such a public way last year, he said he believes that Kawhi Leonard is going to be able to have a bounce back season this year. So for Kawhi to have somebody like this in his corner supporting him, I think is another added benefit because the locker room seems to be very healthy. It seems like these guys are getting along and they have a completely different culture, and that's something that you have to credit a lot to the new coach, Ty Lue. So for me, I think it's a great move. So anyway, what I want to know from you guys is, do you think he's been the best thing that's happened to the Clippers, and do you think that he should probably start over Marcus Morris, or maybe he should stay for the bench? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out the next video that we have linked coming up at the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy that. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.